I think it's really, really honest to say that I wanted out as a young child, as a teenager, growing up in the environment I did. I wanted out. I really, really wanted out. So from an early age, I had a part-time job. I had a paper round. I worked on a fruit and veg stall in the local town market. I worked as a cleaner in a pub. I was a waitress. I was a barmaid. I was a babysitter. I wanted out. I just knew there had to be so much more to this kind of life. I think it's safe to say, and I'm not being mean here and I'm not being judgmental, but my mother's tongue was sharp, so vicious, and so downright soul destroying at times. And it's taken me a long time to build that up to where I am today, to not take on her issues. They don't belong to me, they belong to her. But my goodness, her tongue was soul destroying, absolutely soul destroying. And to a lot of people, maybe she was just a lovely lady, but I am telling you my truth. So if anybody wants to challenge that, I am more than happy to sit down with them. I think it's safe to say I really disliked my uncle babysitting. I did not know why, but all I knew is that I didn't want him there, and I didn't want the burning sensation on my legs, and I didn't want the feel of that belt on my tummy button. It just hurt so much, but I was so frightened, so frightened of my mum to tell her anything, to tell her that I was putting the fire on. My uncle's dad was my granddad. My mum's dad, my nana's husband. And I remember when my granddad died, I went to see him laid out in his coffin in the drawing room, as they did back then, an open coffin. I was tall enough to see his face without being on my tippy toes. I remember that. And I remember thinking, no more long walks in the country fields, no more sitting on his knee, no more being asked to go to his shed, no more sitting on the garden bench and him putting my hand in his trousers. There was going to be no more of that. I didn't have to do it anymore. I just remember that it would be easy, and I'm using my adult head now to say how I should have felt. And I felt relieved and I felt thankful, but I didn't. I was a child and I wasn't sure what I was feeling. There was so much confusion when I look back now and how I've dealt with what's happened to me. But all I remember is seeing him dead in his coffin, thinking, no more long walks, no more me putting my hands down his trousers, no more going into his shed and him exposing himself to me. Until later on in life, I never knew what was happening was wrong. I understood secrets were wrong, but I wasn't sure that what I was being told not to say was a secret. I didn't cry when my granddad died. I didn't cry one little bit. I was thankful and I was glad that he was dead. Did my nana know? Did my mum know? Did he do this to my mum? Why did he do it to me? All I know is my uncle did it to me, and so did my granddad. My granddad and my uncle. My granddad was very open about it, not discreet at all. He'd take me for walks in country lanes, saying I was his favourite granddaughter. He had many granddaughters, but I was his favourite. Why was it happening to me? Why was I the chosen one? Is it because I was lucky? I don't know. And many times my mum used to call me, and I remember this, that I was ugly and I was dirty. Did she know? Did she know? Our walks in those fields down long country lanes, he used to ask me to put my hands in his trousers to warm my hands up. And he used to say to me, if you make my pocket hard, you're the best granddaughter I've ever had. It was like a game. It was awful, absolutely awful. When I'm talking about it, I know it's awful, but back then I just didn't know. I just used to do what he said to me because he was my granddad. and I was his favourite. So we'd go for walks down long country lanes, and he'd ask me to sit down in the grass and put my hand in his pocket and make his pocket go hard. And I remember there used to always be this white sticky stuff, and he used to say that was for me because I was his favourite, my granddad, my uncle's dad. He asked me to taste it, lick it and swallow it. It was my present, and so I'd best be grateful. Not to tell though, because I'm his favourite and nobody else wants to feel as though they're